Hello and welcome. So today I want to talk about one of the most concerning areas that we perhaps overlook, which is cardiovascular disease, and it is actually the leading cause of death in postmenopausal women, which is quite frightening, really. I don't think we cover this enough when we talk about menopause, and so I wanted to really give this some focus today. My name is Sam. I am a nutritional therapist. I'm not a doctor. It is my aim to help women at midlife, going through the perimenopause, menopause and into older age, get through this period of time as easily and painlessly as possible. And I like to share really, I suppose, some things that you can do fairly easily to help get you on the right track. So I don't go deep into the science and I don't go deep into all sorts of the detail, because I know we're busy and I want you to be able to pick something from the videos that I do and be able to implement it and get some sort of benefit. You know, you don't have to do everything. That's the important thing. Making small changes gradually is so much easier than trying to do a complete overhaul when I know women at this stage are so busy, they've got so much on their plate. They've also got the change of the hormones, which is a big challenge in its own right. So please take little snippets from this and implement them to help yourself. So, why do we have this increased risk? Well, again, lower levels of estrogen seem to be related to increase in heart disease. But there are other risk factors that I've come across. And I was reading a particular paper, and it was talking about the ethnicity is quite a risk. So Afro-American have a higher risk in America. So we can have a look at our ethnicity and what propensity do we have towards heart health in our particular ethnic group. That's quite important. Older age, I think we probably know that. We also know smoking is a major issue. Higher pulse rate can be an indication there might be an issue. A higher hip to waist ratio, which we often look at from a metabolic point of view. We're looking at pre-diabetic or diabetic kind of situations, but it's also an indication that there might be an issue from a cardiovascular point of view, from a heart health point of view. An increase or a higher level of white blood cells can also be an indication that there'll be a greater risk. And it's been found that often with sort of sudden death from cardiovascular dysfunction in women, which is within an hour of a situation, it's often they find there's been no previous history or diagnosis of being a problem. So this is interesting why women have this particular sudden death situation, and you do get it in since, dare I say, since COVID. There have been more incidences in men as well. But they basically, one of the things most of the time that's checked, and this is with your medical practitioner, is the plaque on the artery walls. That's one of the things that's expected. But with women, they've found that there's a higher level of microvascular dysfunction. Actually, these are the tiny, tiny little blood vessels, rather than the arteries, the larger ones. The tiny ones that feed the heart muscle seem to be dysfunctional, and this is why it's not so easily diagnosed through the methods of testing that are used. It can be found, but it's not so easily found. So it goes undetected quite a lot with many women. And so knowing that this is an issue, you know, what do we need to look out for, basically? So I've got my notes here, as you probably can tell. So some of the actual risks that can cause, or some of the things that can cause high risk of heart disease and heart problems include low exercise or a sedentary lifestyle, not getting enough movement, a poor diet in general. We need to feed our bodies with nutrients, and a poor diet means that we can be deficient. So poor diet, and we'll go through a few things. I'm going to go through, rather than what poor diet is, I think most of us know, that we've got to avoid processed foods, etc. But I'll talk about some of the foods that are really vital. Lifestyle as well, some of our lifestyle practices. And for many women at this stage of life, we have a lot of stress. And stress has been found to increase some of those compounds that, oops, I've got this little fly flying around. Yes, stress can actually increase some of these compounds that can exacerbate risk of heart disease. Poor sleep also very closely. I think I always put stress and sleep together, because if you've got high stress levels, you've probably got poor sleep, and if you've got poor sleep, you're going to increase your stress levels. So together, those lifestyle factors are really important to focus on. And as I say, women at this stage of life are so busy, so much on their plate, their stress levels tend to be heightened over a longer period of time, and this can increase problems with the heart situation. And then we can have toxicity. We're exposed to lots of chemicals. We might have mycotoxins and heavy metals that might be an issue. And we pick up all sorts of toxins through some of the foods we eat, from the chemicals that are sprayed on crops, pesticides, herbicides. It could be cleaning products, body products, all sorts of exposures that we need to be cautious of as well. Also, I want to also mention at this stage, with the reading I've been doing, I have put some, I will put in the description some of the references to research I've had a look at. There's an awful lot out there, so I've only put a few down. But there's some research into nitric oxide. Nitric oxide is a compound that we produce in our body to open up the vessels, the blood vessels, to dilate them so that we can get a good blood flow. But it would appear there are different enzymes that can help us produce this, some which are more beneficial than others. So I'm looking forward to hearing more about that science when it comes out with more understanding, and I look to share that with you as soon as I know more about it, so we know what we need to do to promote the good and be cautious with the not so good. So that's going to be interesting. So what do we need to do? Well, first of all, my first recommendation would be, if you've got any concerns, do see your doctor. They can do so many tests, check so many different things. They can look at inflammatory markers. You can have an ECG or other tests that might hopefully show up the microvascular situation with you. Even knowing your level of hormones can be beneficial, but it's not all about hormones. But knowing that, rather than just, you do need to understand the level of your hormones before taking HRT as well, because if you've already got high levels of certain estrogens, you might not want an HRT with estrogen in it. You might need more progesterone, more testosterone. So knowing that, so seeing your doctor is really important. Knowing your family history as well, being share that with your doctor as well. So if you've got a history of heart disease in the family, that's important that that's understood. So the first thing to do is to make sure that you move your body, get some exercise. And again, if you haven't done any exercise, it's best basically to get advice before you start, again from your doctor, and maybe look to a personal trainer to help you establish a good routine to get you moving. Because if you have been sedentary and you start thinking, well, right, I've got to go running, that may be incredibly detrimental. It may be too much stress on the heart if you have got any blockages. So walking would be ideal to start with. But I would say, if you're sedentary, really get some professional advice from a personal trainer. Your doctor may be able to advise, particularly if you've got a health issue, do see them, please. But moving your body. And the types of exercise we need to do are all sorts here, actually. The heart is a muscle. It needs to work, be exercised to make it strong and just keep it functioning well. So some sort of aerobic would be good. High intensity interval training has been shown to improve heart muscle, our ability to sort of for the blood flow, etc. And then weights, any sort of way of you can do resistance to build muscle. So weights are also good. I think really you need to have a program that's been designed for you personally to get you started. And then when you know what you're doing, you know your levels, you know your blood pressure, you know your heart rate, you understand that, then you can go it alone. But to start with, I think it's really good to get some professional advice. I also think things like Tai Chi, yoga, and Pilates are really helpful when it comes to not just our balance when we spoke about bone health, but also to help us manage our stress. I found it helped me sleep as well. I found yoga in the evening really helped me to sleep. I slept more soundly after doing yoga. But those are really good from a stress management and sleep perspective. You don't really want to exercise too close to bedtime because that can interfere with sleep as well. So, but they're good exercises. The next thing is the diet. And the Mediterranean diet is the one that's often brought up here. And it's because it includes these fresh fruits and vegetables and olive oil in there and some fish and some meat, but not so much meat. Basically, generally fresh. A lot of the Mediterranean, they grow a lot of food themselves, so it's pesticide free a lot of the time. Many people have their own vegetable gardens. A lot of things grow, wild herbs, all sorts. So herbs and spices I've mentioned over the last 2 weeks, they are really supportive here as well. But particularly look at turmeric. The sort of research into turmeric for its anti-inflammatory, antioxidant benefits are superb. It has some microvascular protection as well. It can help produce some nitric oxide to dilate the blood vessels and feed the blood system, basically. What else? It supports blood vessel function. It can also help us manage our cholesterol, which I haven't mentioned. We do produce cholesterol ourselves in our body, and when we eat cholesterol in our diets, our body will downregulate the manufacture of cholesterol. It's a complex subject, and I wouldn't get too hung up on it, but being aware of cholesterol is also important. So turmeric can help us with that. Olive oil, extra virgin olive oil, there's been a huge amount of research into this over the last few years. It has antioxidant properties, it can help us lower the less advantageous cholesterol. They each have their part to play, but it can help us reduce inflammation. There's been a lot of research showing that it's very heart supportive. But putting it on salads, having it raw rather than cooked is better. This is where the Mediterranean diet comes in, because a lot of things are fresh, lightly cooked or raw, and therefore the olive oil is used a lot as a dressing, and great flavour as well. Omega-3 essential fatty acids found in oily fish, for instance, really beneficial. Things like sardines and mackerel. Again, very good at enhancing microvascular health. Helps the endothelial lining of the vessels as well. This is the lining on the inside, and the what's it called, glycocalyx, I think, matrix inside. So very supportive of the vessel structure and function. Anti-inflammatory, we know it can really help with managing our inflammation in our bodies, and can help improve the blood flow, and again can help increase nitric oxide. So these foods, turmeric, olive oil, and oily fish, are really fabulous to include in your diet. Vegetables in general are very helpful here as well from a vascular perspective, and particularly leafy greens as well. So having those fresh vegetables to support our blood circulation, vitamin K in there, protecting the lining of our vessels, enhancing nitric oxide again. And I think beetroot's particularly good at that, if I remember rightly. So these fresh foods, very supportive, and I would highly recommend you start to look at taking processed foods out of your diet completely if you include them. Really start eliminating them and bringing in these fresh ones. And now the weather's improving, we've got a beautiful sunny day again today in the UK, it's much easier to have these fresh foods and have a big salad of, it doesn't have to be just lettuce, tomato and cucumber. You can add in grated carrots or courgettes, beetroot. They don't have to be cooked, basically. Raw cabbage and coleslaw, but do it with an olive oil dressing instead. A few nuts and seeds. All these are wonderful. And maybe some beans on the side, cooked cannellini beans, for instance, with a dressing on them. Would be really nice. If you can look at the quality of the foods you're buying as well, if you can get organic or grass-fed when it comes to, or wild caught when it comes to meats and fish, for instance, and vegetables organic, that would be fantastic. Do the best you can, and stage by stage improvements, finding a source that's suitable for you, for your health, for your pocket, because I know these things are more expensive, and we can only do what we can do. I'm limited myself, it's got to be said. When it comes to lifestyle, I mentioned stress and sleep, and so these are areas that we can also really focus on. And when it comes to stress, find the way that's best for you, or ways that can help support your stress management. So I like exercise. I walk the dogs every day, and that's like a meditation stress release for me. Breath work's also incredibly good. Mindfulness practice, journaling, even a spa day, going to get a massage to help relax those muscles. Find something that's good for you, rather than that glass of wine, which may give you some release temporarily, but it will promote problems long term. Try and avoid the glass of wine. Try and find breath work or movement, something else. And then look at your sleep routine. Are you sleeping well? Do you need to look at a process of preparing for bed? Lower the lights in the house, turning off. Sorry, I've got my doggies. Turning off gadgets an hour to 2 hours before bed. Not eating too close. Having a cool room. I'll just push the door too. Just checking there's no delivery coming. Things like that. Looking at your sleep routine. Prioritise your sleep. Make sure you're getting enough hours for you. Whether it's 7 hours, whether it's 9 hours, whatever it might be. And then the final area is really toxicity. We are exposed to so many, and this, as I say, it could be in our clothing, it could be our bed sheets, it could be our cleaning products, our body lotions, facial products. It could be coming in on pesticides and herbicides in our food. Look to reduce as much of that as possible. Excuse me a moment. So we want to. Sorry, I was. I don't know what they're barking at. Oh, I can see it's a delivery man next door. Right. Yes, reducing our exposure to toxins as much as possible so we don't take on more is really important. And one of the best things one can do in the way of trying to eliminate them from the body is an infrared sauna. Now, I haven't done this myself. I keep reading about it. I know I need to look into this and find somewhere I can go to have a sauna regularly. But that's really a good way to help remove toxins from the body. One thing that I would say be cautious with is a detox diet. These were all the rage about 10 years ago. And if you have high levels of toxins in your body already, doing a detox diet or a long fast may increase the risk of releasing them, say from your fat cells, into your bloodstream, where it can then circulate in the body and cause dysfunction elsewhere. So I would not do a detox diet at this stage, let's say. It's a possibility if you know you're fairly clear of them, it may be beneficial to you, but I would do that again with somebody who knows what they're doing, because you can feel really poorly. It can create quite a lot of dysfunction if you do it, if there's high toxicity being released. So be cautious with that, please. So there are a few things. Oh, babies, please stop. So, yeah, heart health is incredibly important. It's worth focusing on. A lot. Luna, stop growling at nothing, darling. No. Come here. Come here. Come here. Where are you? Come here. Let's fuss you. Yeah, a lot of the things I've mentioned today are very supportive of all sorts of dysfunction and imbalances at this stage of our lives. I do hope you found some of this doable, easy to include. Please be aware of your heart health and have a checkup. Just find out where you are, whether you have inflammatory markers, whether your heart is functioning, with your blood pressure's at the correct level, pulse, etc., waist to hip ratio. And thank you. Please like and subscribe. Subscribing costs nothing. It will help me to do more of these videos. Please share with somebody you think may benefit. Thank you for joining me today. I hope to see you again soon. Take care. Bye bye.